Today, we're going to be talking about dopamine stacking and why I believe you should be weary of it. There was an experiment done with rats. There was Group A and there was Group B. Both groups were given a lever to push to get food, and one group, Group A, nothing was changed, and then Group B, all their dopamine was taken away, and their ability to produce dopamine was taken away. And when they were put right in front of the lever, both hit the lever, got the food, and enjoyed the food. And I think this just shows that you don't need dopamine to feel pleasure, to enjoy things. That is not why you need dopamine. But in the second experiment, they moved the rats in Group B that had no dopamine a rat's length away from the lever, and they would not push the lever. They would not move even 15 centimeters to push this lever. And that just shows that they have no motivation to pursue pleasure. They can enjoy things, they can have pleasure, they can be happy, but they have no motivation to pursue those things. And this is why dopamine is very useful, and you have to be careful on how you spend all your dopamine. And that's where we get to the point of this video with dopamine stacking. And what I mean by dopamine stacking is, for example, say you go for a walk, and you go for walks every morning, and you enjoy your walks. You like listening to the sounds of nature, you like saying good morning to people, just getting out there early, watching the sunrise, just taking pleasure in nature and life. And then one day, you decide to listen to a podcast on your walk. That walk then adds another level of dopamine, because if it's a podcast you really enjoyed, this could be the best morning walk you've ever had. You were doing all these other things that give you pleasure, and you have dopamine to go seek that. But now your dopamine spikes because you have this other thing that you're pursuing, which is the walk and the podcast. And then the next day, you go for another walk, and you think, all right, well, that was good when I did a walk and went for a podcast. How about now I listen to a podcast, go for a walk, and scroll on Twitter, Instagram, place in your social media. And then even more dopamine goes up. And now it's even higher. And that becomes your new baseline for your morning walks. So the next day, you decide to just go for a regular walk. No podcast, no phone, no social media, nothing. And you don't enjoy it as much. You don't want to go for the walk. You don't want to go listen to nature. You want to listen to your podcast. You don't want to look around at the birds and the sunrise. You want to scroll through Twitter. And you have to be very careful of this, because you will make this a habit that is going to be hard to get out of, because you're not going to want to go through the weeks it may take to level out your dopamine to enjoy a normal walk again. It's just going to make more sense for you to always listen to a podcast, always be on your phone scrolling, always do these things, instead of just being somewhat bored and living in the moment and enjoying life and being with your thoughts and thinking. So you have to be very careful with social media and podcasts, all these things, and YouTube videos like this one. If you're doing something, and say you're at the gym and you're listening to this, then you're dopamine stacking right now with this video. The gym should be enough. That should be enough pleasure for you. You shouldn't need to listen to music or listen to a podcast, or in between every set go on your phone and scroll through social media. Because then if one day your phone dies or you forget your headphones, it's going to be a miserable gym session. You're not going to want to be there. You're not going to want to do it. And I don't believe that's healthy. You should do everything your best and give it 100% effort, whether that be working out, at your job, reading a book, talking to someone, listening to someone. You should be 100% into things. And you shouldn't be having a conversation while scrolling through Instagram. You shouldn't be at the gym just constantly scrolling through social media and listening to podcasts. Every once in a while, it's okay, but you just have to make sure you don't make it a habit that once you revert back to not doing it, you have no motivation or drive to do it. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, and I still do, and I still watch a lot of YouTube, so I'm not acting like I never do these things, but I've definitely tried to slow down on the amount of stuff I listen to and kind of comprehend and process things more. You know, there was a point in time when every spare second I had, I was listening to a podcast or watching a video, and they were all, in my opinion, informational, very good content to be consuming. But then one day I realized, if I don't give myself any time to reflect on these things, what am I really learning? It's just in one ear, out the next, out the other. You need to give yourself time to reflect on these things. And same things with books. It's not about how many books you read. It's about what you get from the books you do read. So you should read a book slow. You should take notes on the book. You should highlight. You should reread things. You should go through it nice and slow and reflect on things. Recently I've been, when I read, say I'm done reading and it's time to go somewhere, I will go into the car and I will not listen to music. I will not play a podcast. I will not look at my phone. I will just think about what I just read and try to instill that into my brain and comprehend it and just have it stick, not just instantly go to the next pleasure and flood out everything I just tried to learn. So I think reflection is very key. And, when you're at the gym and going for walks and there's already information you need to reflect on and you're just flooding in more information, you're missing out on both. You're not reflecting on the information you had, and you're not fully in tune with the information you're receiving. So it's just a battle of information that is not optimal for you. And in the end, you're going to get neither information. And obviously that's not what you want. So I think you should just give yourself more time to reflect on things. And I know it's not easy. I'm dealing with this. A quote I've been saying to myself a lot recently that I really enjoy is a Confucius quote. And he says, human betterment is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And every time I think of that, it just, to me, 1 step is understanding what you need to do. And then the 2nd step is doing that. And then the 1 step back is the next time when you know what you need to do, but you don't do it. So that's 1 step back. But you still know what you need to do. So the next time you can take 2 steps forward again, because you do what you need to do twice. And then you fail again. And then you do 2 steps forward, then a back, then 2 steps forward, then back. And then eventually you're astronomically better than you were. But you just need to be patient with yourself and understand that human betterment is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Things don't happen the first time you try them. It takes time to build skills. Anything that's worth doing is going to be hard and it's going to take a while. So you just need to be patient with yourself and understand it's just human nature to mess up and to fail. And what really matters is if you get up after you fail and how you look at your failures. You either win or you learn. And if you can have that mindset and outlook on things, I believe that will be very beneficial to you. I hope you all enjoyed this video. That's going to do it. Just be careful with stacking pleasures on pleasures on pleasures. Try to get enjoyment out of the bare activity, whether that be gym, reading, walking, studying, spending time with people, eating. You don't need to stack on a bunch of little things on all of these things. You can just do them 100%, and enjoy them to their fullest without just spiking your dopamine for no reason. And another thing that comes with dopamine is it always returns. And what I mean by that is, say your baseline's here and you shoot it up to here. The baseline was here, now it has to drop just as much as it went up to flatline again. So if you have a massive spike in dopamine, just be ready for that crash in dopamine. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.